Time the Saints played the Cowboys in Week 10 of last season. Again, the Saints set an NFL record with 40 first downs and posted a team record of 625 total yards in the 49-17 win. Joining us now at the desk is our NFL analyst, Mark Schlereth. So the question is this. Do the Cowboys get the win this time around?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question. Obviously, you know, we looked at the Dallas Cowboys and we look at the way they're running the ball right now. And there's some good, they're doing some really good things, and they're covering up for some of the weaknesses on that defensive side of the ball. And I like that. Last week, down 21-0, they faced a couple of 8-man fronts. They had one-on-one on the outside, and they said, forget it. Tony Romo, you're not allowed to check out of this stuff. We're going to learn to run against an 8-man box. That bodes well for the Dallas Cowboys because they ran it at a 14-yard clip. At the very next play, another 8-man box at a 20-yard clip. They know how to run against 8-man fronts, and they're not letting their quarterback check out of those things. That's how they have to play the game. That's the recipe for success in Dallas because it hides some of the deficiencies from a talent standpoint that they have on the defensive side of the ball. But still, I think the Saints come in there. I think they get a victory. They've got some things they have to work on as well, but they haven't been prolific on offense. But I still think they're a work in progress, and they'll figure that out.
All right, Stephen A.
I agree with Schlereth. I mean, and it's good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at the Saints. They've lost 5 consecutive road games, 7 of their last 8. That's not very impressive, but I love that because what better way for those doldrums to come to an end than in Big D, where Rob Ryan is returning for the first time since being unceremoniously kicked out of town by Jerry Jones. If there was ever a game that Rob Ryan was going to bring the heat, it's going to be this game. Now, we know that the Saints pass rush hasn't been that great. Their defense has been relatively suspect as well. We get all of that, but at the same time, Skip Bayless, Mark Schlereth, I'm thinking this would be the perfect opportunity. Tony Romo seemed to be getting stronger after his back surgery, particularly after throwing that pick 6 last night. But at the same time, if you're Gillette, if you're Jordan, you've got to help bring the pressure, apply it to Tony Romo, and I think you can neutralize Dallas to some degree. I think a key in all of this is going to be finding a way to neutralize DeMarco Murray as well, or hoping that the Dallas Cowboys will get caught up in the mix, that they'll be stupid enough not to give the ball to DeMarco Murray. He's rushed for 100 yards or more 3 consecutive games opening this season. Only Emmitt Smith and Tony Dorsett have done that in Cowboys lore. But in the end, I look at it from this perspective, guys. I'm just thinking along the lines that Drew Brees and this offense with Jimmy Graham and these guys, you got to remember the Dallas Cowboys, 27 touchdowns, 290 yards to tight ends thus far this season. What you going to do with Jimmy Graham? We all know this brother can ball. Church might be able, he's going to have his work cut out for him. There's no doubt about it. But I think Jimmy Graham's going to win that matchup. Scandrick's back, so their defense should improve to some degree because you don't have Claiborne in that starting lineup, even though he foolishly thinks he should be starting. But still in all, I just look at New Orleans, and I think that if there was ever a game where they're going to find a way to put up some points, it's going to be this game. I think as a result, Tony Romo will throw the football more than he did last week. I think as a result of that, the New Orleans Saints, led by Rob Ryan, will be applying even more heat somehow, some way. I assume it'll be a high-scoring affair, somewhere along the lines of 37-33. But in the end, what needs to be done should get done, and New Orleans should win this game.
You're going to give my Cowboys 33 points? I'm shocked by that. You really think they can score 33?
Yeah, they're at home. They're at home, and New Orleans' defense isn't that great.
Oh, okay. Well, I love it that you picked against my Cowboys with such relish because you were just like, there's such enthusiasm that spills from your lips because that makes me feel really good. Yeah. I'm happy that my friend Mark also picks New Orleans. I'm here to tell you, I'm only going to stand by one thing that I have predicted on the show. The Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC East, but I have learned my lesson. I'm not going to pick for them or against them. I'm not going to pick these games because I tried it in Week 1. I tried to pick Dallas to beat San Francisco at Jerry World on opening Sunday. Remember this? Mm-hmm. And Dallas should have won that game. They did win the second half 14-0, but DeMarco Murray turned into DeFumble Murray, as he has for 3 straight first quarters of games. And Tony Romo throws 3 interceptions in the first half. Well, you're going to lose to the 49ers, even though, as I said before the year, the 49ers are suspect. They have all kinds of issues that we continue to see over the next couple of weeks. So I'm just going to back off. I'm going to say it will be closer than 49-17, and that Dallas will not allow 40 first downs. Maybe 35.
Okay. That's bold.
Let me tell you where I am with New Orleans right now, because this offense has not been what we expected it to be. And there's two things that I look at. First and foremost, remember this spring when we all talked about, is Jimmy Graham a wide receiver or is he a tight end, right? Put on the film. Based upon the way he blocks on the edge when called to block, he's a wide receiver because he doesn't hit anybody. It was embarrassing, the lack of effort that I saw last week. Jimmy Graham, when he was called on that aspect of the game, he's a non-participant. And if they don't fix that issue on the edge, they're going to have problems.
But he's not a tough guy.
Well,
as we've established.
But you know what? You have to at least act the part. But act like you're trying to block somebody on the edge.
Did you see him at Seattle last year run from Cam Chancellor?
Right.
He ran from it.
Okay, that part has got to get fixed. They've got to fix that stuff because you have to be able to do those things when called upon to do those things. You can't go out for a pass every single time. The other thing that has been really interesting in this league is Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles is a specialist that nobody wants to pay. And as soon as he's not on your roster, you struggle.
San Diego?
Right. San Diego. Phillip Rivers went into a funk for a couple of years. This year right now. And here's the deal. You start as a defense double teaming your slot guys. So Brandon Cook's getting a double team. It's Jimmy Graham's getting a double team. And they look at those backs out of the backfield. And they're like, we're okay one-on-one. We'll rally up, tackle that guy. So he catches the ball for 4 yards. We rally up, we tackle him. It's 3rd down and 5. And that's where they are, where Darren Sproles is a guy where you have to find a way to bracket him, double him when he's coming out of the backfield. And that's a huge factor. You don't have that instant outlet that's instant offense in New Orleans anymore. And there's nobody on that roster that can fill that void. And that's one of the reasons they're really struggling right now for big chunk yardage.
Is it fair for me to conclude that so far Rod Marinelli has done a better job than Rob Ryan has?
Yes.
Thank you.
I think he's been with a dearth of talent. I think he has been amazing. And the whole Mo Claiborne saying he didn't like the way he was, the message of him being benched was delivered. What did you want a 1-800-Flowers gift basket in your locker? A fruit basket said, hey, listen, you don't play here anymore?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what do you want? I've been benched before, man. It stinks. Right? It stinks. But you don't walk out on your team. Oh. I know he came back. I know he apologized. But that shows some immaturity, and one of the reasons he's on the bench right now, because he was awful in the game against St. Louis as well.
All right, so Skip says it's not going to be 49-17. Saints are 3-point favorites. Schlereth adds this. They don't have that Darren Sproles X factor on their offense, so that is why they may struggle. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.